Good morning, traders. Welcome to my daily webinar. This is the crypto section. You're getting separate from the rest. This morning, I did the Forex and the stock ones. If you're watching this one, please go watch the Forex and the stock ones as well. And make sure you share them so that somebody else can see it, right? I got a lot of requests from traders asking about the group. That is people who probably are hearing for it for the first time. If you're watching this for the first time, we do have an amazing group. Right now, we're in our trading room. And there's a group of traders with me. We're here as we are going through these trades. If you want to join us, send me a Skype message. You would get my Skype just under this video in the description. Send me a Skype message and you'll get all the details you need. In terms of the training course that we are doing, we have one coming up in March. I don't like to advertise training course very much. If you know me, you know it's not about the training course. It's about training you to become a trader is when you join our group. So maybe I'll do a separate, very short video today to tell you about our group more and the trading course that is coming up. Let's go. Let's start. So this is the crypto one. We are in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, if you look at it right now, this is a regular flat. We normally look at patterns like these when they go back up to the top there, way back to the top, come down here as a regular flat for more upside. We still have a sharp one here. And when you have such a sharp one in this here, and it's followed by a sharp one somewhere in the future, that's called a running flat pattern. When we see that pattern, we call it running flat. That's a continuation pattern, which means you're going to go higher. So the question is it going to go that much? Now, that is the patterns that could form based on what we have. Let's assume that this is the top of it. And this is just a correction for more downside. If we make that assumption, then what you would have to do is wait for a flag here before you sell. So you can go in the 1 hour and you can take every corrective structure you get, which means every correction like this you get, you can sell. If this stays here for a while, makes a correction, that becomes a sell. Selling from a top like this is not a bad idea, regardless of what this pattern looks like at the start. It can look like a 1, 2, 3 for upside, but if it goes lower, that changes the dynamics, which means we would look at this as the top and we'd be going down way down to the bottom. Now, we are at a very, very high spot, so that possibility exists. As it stands right now, what if it is going to go up? What if it's not going to fall more and this is the flat for upside? Then what you would have to do is wait for this to go up, make a flag here, and then look for a buy from this point up there. What would that look like? Let me show you in a trade that actually went up, especially if you're new to this and you don't have an idea what I'm talking about. So when let me see if I can find a place where we have a flat. So yeah, here we have a flat, right? We have a perfect one here. We've got a 1, 2, 3 down here. And if I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, this is the flat. Let's assume that is the flat. At the start, they're going to go, right? Well, I would not look at the flat. I would expect this to come back here and drop here, which is what it did. They come back here and then they drop. So we can go with that as a contracting flat. That makes sense. That's a different story. But what would be your buy setup when you break that low? You wait for a flag like this and you buy. That one doesn't go, come back, you got a break-even trade, and you repeat the process here. You didn't get a buy there, they come back, they give you a buy setup here, you take this one up, you take this one up, you come here, you take that one up, right? So this might be a break-even, this might be a break-even, and basically you should take the break-even trade until you get the big move, and that is your trade. That's the perfect trade setup. So what would be the perfect trade setup here? The same thing. Wait for, these would be buy setup, but I want to find it in the pattern to show you. So the same thing here, you wait for this to go, make a flag, and then you take this trade. It might do this. That would be a break-even trade, right? If they do that, you start selling from the bottom here downwards. See, it's very simple. It's called wave analysis if you're watching it for the first time. It works on almost any possible chart you can find out there, right? It's just the nature of how these charts tends to behave because of the nature of how people trade. Human beings and everything that is involved in whatever you're trading, right? It's people trading it, so we tend to have time factor, we tend to have manipulative factor, we tend to have all kinds of stuff you can find that will influence how people trade it is going to be registered here, and that creates specific patterns. Some of the patterns in cryptos might vary from the patterns in currencies, but mostly they're common. They're the same type of patterns you will see there. So if you're going to look for a buy, wait for an up move, wait for this, let it go, buy. If it stays here, sell. Let's see which one it goes. So remember, it's not it's going to go up, it's going to go down. That's a whole different story. It's where you are on the bigger structure, because I think some new traders will watch this and totally confuse themselves as to whether they should buy or sell. It's if you have a confirmation of a pattern for a buy, you go, confirmation for a sell. On the longer term, this definitely looks like a buy setup, but it has to prove that by going out of the structure. And you can look for a flag here to buy and see if they goes out of the structure. That would be your buy setup. Because we are so high, the question, again, I'll ask the same question like I asked the last time. Do you really want to buy it at this price? If you're buying at this price, who is selling to you? Every time you're thinking of buying this thing here, ask the same question. Who is selling it to me? And why is he doing that? Doesn't he know the same thing I know? That this thing is going to go up to 100,000? And if he knows that, why is he selling to me? When you ask that question, then you will probably know the answer that, you're being manipulated. Let's go. 1 hour, look for buy setups. Short term, it can go. I'm not saying it can go. I'm saying you have to be careful not to be the last one to exit this thing when it starts to fall, because it will fall. If you don't believe it will fall, go back to when it was 28,000 going up to the top, 20,000 going, 18,000, 19,000, 20,000 going to the top. I was giving the same warning. You don't want to be the last one to exit when it starts to fall. When it falls, you can buy back again, maybe at 5,000, 10,000, you can buy back again when you see the structure is completing itself as a correction. What mostly is known as a bear market. You want to buy the bottom of a bear market. This is the top of a bull market. So you probably want to be careful, right? I don't like to use the name bear and bull because they're just names. They're useless in terms of trade. For traders who want to trade professionally, it's useless names to go with, right? They don't really tell you anything. So if you get a flag here, buy, watch it when it comes to this top, right? If it doesn't go to that top, stop rate to go down, take break even, and definitely sell it. I'm going to go through the rest very fast. That is why I took some time to elaborate on the first one. XRP, I think yesterday we did this in our trading room when we have one trader who trades this quite a lot, trades all the cryptocurrencies, and he says most likely you would find it making a running flat. So we looked at that option. And if it is going to make a running flat, then this here becomes a contracting flat. If we look at the possibilities for a running flat, let me take this off. And if we assume that this thing is going to make a running flat, then what we're simply saying, put it like this, what we're simply saying, if this is going to make a running flat, then we have to agree that this is a contracting flat. Normally, we don't go with contracting flats until we break the top. But if we go with the assumption that that is a contracting flat, it means you have an impulse down, you have an impulse up, you have a contracting flat in the middle, you're looking for a next impulse to come here, you are looking for a next impulse to come down and then take off like a rocket. So why did we discuss this? Because I was saying you should buy in this range. And he is saying that maybe it's not going to give us a regular flat, which means we're not going to get this coming down to this level and then go up. What we might get is that this piece is going to become a running flat rather than a regular flat that stop here and come down. Now, that is a very, that makes sense. It's a possible, especially if he's watching it more than me and he decided this is going to be a running flat. Let's go with that option. So 2 options we're going with. Since I don't think anybody's interested in the sell in this. You're interested in where you can buy to the upside, right? That's basically your interest. Where can you buy this thing to go up if it is going to go up? And it's likely going to go up because in the bigger picture you have this one that made a top, but you're now breaking the top. Bitcoin broke this top already. Bitcoin broke the previous high that it had by a lot. The previous high was 20-something thousand. Now it's 50-something, 60,000, 60-something thousand, right? So if this is a running flat in here, then we will take off to the upside. It could be slow. It could be fast. I don't know how it's going to go. But this is at the bottom. So you want to get in and hope that if they go, you will be in a trade, right? If the pattern continues to go the way we expect it to go, you'll be in a good trade. So this might be this was the lowest point. This is your impulse up. Let's assume that's an impulse up. That your first move up, and this could be the correction. I was saying that this correction would probably just be a flat, come back down here, and then go. That would be a regular flat pattern. If I'm wrong and they decide to go up here, you can actually look for buy setups to that top. But then you would have to exit, wait for them to come back here, and then start buying again, right? Or as some traders in my group are doing, they will buy here, let it go, and when it comes back lower, buy here again to let it go, because they're pretty sure it's going to go that way. On the 4-hour, this is what we have. If you think it's going to go up, you have to wait for this to consolidate here and then go for the buy. You're already getting some consolidation. So if it breaks out of that consolidation, the buy is a good idea to break this stop. And then you would expect it to go back down, right? Dot USD, Tethers. I had this one today for some of there was a request on this, and I think at least 3 people requested it. So I'm going to put this one on. We put on about 3 of them. And if you guys don't like any one of these that I put on, which means not a lot of you are trading it, you can actually put on the ones you want, but you have to vote for it. You have to have enough people there saying, under the one that somebody recommend, put your name and say, hey, yes, I like this one. So the ones with the more like I'll put on, and then we can take out the ones that are not so useful to you, because I have no idea. But this one looks good. In terms of pattern-wise, this is a good corrective structure. And that means this could break down to the bottom and then upside. This would be a flat. Or it works its way up like this, come to here and then go, which means just break this top as a running flat. Now, I believe the running flat is the most common pattern. So I believe we will probably see, I have no idea if this is the start of it, but if that is the start of it, somewhere here is the start of it, then that's a correction. This is an impulse. This would probably be a correction, and you can probably go higher, right? If this is what it's doing. I have no idea, because the first time I'm actually seeing this. Now, you may say, how do you analyze it if you see it the first time? Well, I don't need to know why it's doing anything that it's doing. I need to know the structure of it. What I analyze is structures, and we look for these: impulse, correction, impulse. A bigger correction should follow by a bigger impulse. So right now you're in a corrective structure. This is the P part, or the corrective part of the corrective structure. Every corrective structure have an impulse, a correction, and an impulse. This could either break the top or don't break the top. So if I were you, I would ignore the sell as it stands and wait for them to come back to this level to buy if they don't break the top. If it breaks the top, then it would probably just come back to about this level, not breaking the low, and then go back up. That's a classical running flat pattern. Can you trade inside of this range? Well, I don't know how you guys trade it, if you trade it, right? If you trade it how you trade, yes, you can trade inside the range, which means you just do this. Every time it gives you a buy setup like that, you can buy this. It breaks the top, take it off. Every time you get a flat like this, you buy this. It breaks the top, take it off. So if this goes up here, make a flat like this, you buy this, it breaks the top, take it off. Because you will get one of this down. When you get that one down, then you start buying for the upside. You repeat the same process. Go up, make a flag, you buy, and you stay with that one. So is it going to break the top and then go or not? I don't know. You never know that. That's not something you can know. But you can follow it to see if it's going to do that. This is your impulse. You're inside that one. At some point, they're going to drop. If this stays like this and it does this, look for the drop. Look for the drop. But if it goes up like this and make a flag, that is, they're going to break this top again. And they can do that a number of times until they break the top, then come back and go. I actually like this one in terms of trading. It's a very good pattern to trade. It's very simple, very nice. It's well structured. You guys should keep an eye on that. And this one we just add also. Now, some of these lines might not be real, which means they might not exist. I have no idea if this exists here, that deep pullback there. If that exists, it's really strange, right? I could see this pattern here, pretty simple. See this corrective? We are actually doing one of that on the dot right now. This didn't break the top, which means they drop lower and then go back up. Now, I don't know if this is real, right? You will have to tell me that. You guys would have to tell me that. But if this is real, it means we're in a big sideways move here. That's the range of the sideways move. So this one is going to work its way up, come down, go back, come down, something like this before we go out of that range, which means you can decide you're going to trade in that range if it's real, right? So if that is real, I would go with the assumption that it's real unless you guys tell me otherwise. If it is not real, then this might be the low, and which means we're consolidating here for one more down and then up. See? So let's see what we have here. I'm just going to pull the top, and that is the first time we didn't break the top. See, this is the first time you didn't break the top. So the question is that trying to drop. Normally if it's trying to drop, it will drop immediately like this drop, It will not go so slow. So what I would assume they're doing here is making a bigger flat here. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. This is more of a running flat. You get that move up, you get this move down, you can get the same thing up here again, and then you get the drop. Right? So I would not attempt to sell this at the bottom here. I'll look for buy setups. I would look at this. Let it come back here and look for buy setups to the top. And it might go like this as well. You might get an up move, a pullback, an up move, a pullback, and an up move, and before you get the sharp move down. So if you're trading, wait for flags, wait for impulses, wait for flags, then trade it. I think this one is already proven what we told you it's going to do. It's going to drop, and it's already dropping. If you get a flag, it could drop more. Can it be a 1, 2, 3 and go back up like that? It's possible, but you don't have a buy setup as yet. You will get a buy setup if this actually goes back to the top there, make a flag here, and then start to go. That would be your buy setup. But if they make a flag at the bottom here, if it stays here, we're going to drop, drop, drop. Now, I don't think this is the drop because this one is very, very sharp. And this has a big flat here. When they do that, the tendency is they will go back up here. You will get this as a flat in the middle of this structure. Go back up to the top and then drop, which would eventually give you a running flat. The most common pattern that exists, right? This is another running flat. See this? See this one here? Go back up, break the top, then drop, and come on. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes back up here, make a flag, and then you get a buy for the upside. The buy would be equivalent to this, so you may want to buy it. If they do consolidate here, you will probably get one more drop, consolidate one more drop, just take one drop at a time. How far it goes is your luck. I don't know. Dash, okay, Dash is getting, all of them have the similar structure, right? You've got this sharp move down, and now you're in this piece. You see this piece here, one up, pull back, one up, pull back, and now you're getting this. This looks like it will come back more up. I don't think we're going to fall from there. If they were falling after this, you would see this start dropping really fast. So what you see is more of a corrective structure forming here. And that means this would go back up like this into this one. It may or may not break the top. And then it's going to come back here for this sharp move before they go. Right? If this is going to drop from this level, let's just make an assumption I'm wrong and this is going to drop from that level. You don't have a sell setup as it stands right now. You will get a sell setup if this consolidates like this. Then you go for the sell. Otherwise, to that, like this one, this was a sell setup. You can take the whole thing, but actually this was the piece you're looking at, right? See this one, it didn't break out. You didn't get a sell setup. So you wait for that and you wait for the breakout to get the trade because they can start doing this and then go up like that. What you would look for is a buy setup actually. I'm more inclined to believe we'll get a buy setup to the upside. And from there, we'll see where it goes, right? This is what, I have no idea what these things are. So just, this one actually has a running flat in it already. Let's see what the daily looks like. Okay, this one is quite curious the way it's going. You made a low and you're going up. This is the lowest point, I think, in this one coming down. So if we assume that we're still in the corrective structure, I still think we are in the corrective structure. I don't believe we're out of the corrective structure already. This might come back up to about here. And then we might go down again. So let's see where we have it in the 4 hour. Yeah, you have a flat forming for the buy setup. So first you're going to get a sell. You broke the top. See the running flat forming there. You get that move up and you're getting this move to come back here. So look for sell setups here for the downside and then look for the upside. Let's see if we have a sell setup. Go in the 1 hour. Nope, not as yet. We don't have it, but just be careful. It could start going anytime. See how this one started? It dropped, made a flat, drop, made another flat, and then drop, made another pullback, and then drop. So let's assume this is the first pullback. Wait for any kind of a flag here and then sell. So the question is, can it actually go up more, one more before it comes down? Yes, that is possible. Only in the break of this. Only in the break of that you can buy. But the one more up could be very short-lived because you still have that wave down to fulfill. After you fulfill that wave, any buy is a longer-term trade. But if you think this is going to go up, there's a trade here. You just have to be very careful, because how far would this go? That's anybody's guess before you get that sharp one. It could just break the top and drop. It could break the top, go a distance, and then come back and then go. So if you're going to take the buy, you have to be more careful. But if you get a sell set up here and you go for the sell, you're absolutely sure you're going to get a bigger move down before you go up. So I see this as a running flat in the making right now. This one is just going the way we are doing it. You can see that it break, you're going. I think we're going to go more, look for more sell setups back to this level and breaking that level. So what is the bigger pattern? Pretty easy. You just want this to come back to this level. This is it. Come back to this level here. And then upside. Let them come back there, and then we'll see when we get there. Is it sharp enough for the upside? Because if it doesn't come back sharp, that means we're going to have a bigger structure, right? If this starts to consolidate here and then do this, then we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and then go. We're going to have this pattern. We're going to have this pattern, and then we're going to go, right? So it all depends on how this comes down. If it comes down really fast, great. You're going to look for more upside. If it comes slow, or if it even doesn't come down and consolidate at this stage, well, then that changes the pattern. Structurally, it's upside. It's a consolidation for upside, but the pattern could change as we go. So look for consolidation, sell. Let it make a consolidation here. Sell it. Let's go. The last one we have on is this. What is it? This ADA USD. Okay. This is what you have. Let's take this out. I'll relook at this to see whether that is the correct one. So far, that was a good flat in the middle there, and I still think it is the flat, but this has a lot of correction, and this is sharp. So that is not making quite a lot of sense in terms of the pattern. So let's see what we look for. Let's start with the bigger picture. The bigger pictures, we're making a correction at the top here, right? The bigger pictures, this piece looks like it's trying to make a consolidation here to go one more up. That is what it looks like, because we've got a deep pullback in there. So the assumption is that is a consolidation one more up. But because we just broke this top and we have divergence here, that deep pullback could be a deep pullback for the downside, which means even though you have a deep pullback, there's still a chance you could actually come back here. So we have to relook at that to see, is there a chance for more downside rather than upside? The first sharp drop was this piece, right? That was the first sharp drop one. We made a correction. We kind of drop, we pull back sharp. You have to look at these two sharp waves, which definitely makes sense. And this one came down. So I wish this one had broken the top. If this had broken the top, we would take this as the first impulse down for a bigger move downside. But because it didn't, there's a chance that we're still making a flat here and go down. So we've got a sharp move here. Expect this to go back up like that. And look for a sell setup. Take one trade at a time. Go for the sell. See how far that goes, how far and how fast it goes, and that will determine whether we're actually going down totally or we're just making a flat here. Because this sharp piece is not confirming that flat pattern as yet. We'll get more waves. We'll make that decision. So right now this is going up back like this. I would not be buying it. I'll wait for this to happen, and then I'll look for the sell setup. An entry here, a stop here would be a good idea. Not that I'm making a trade call. I don't give trade calls. I don't give financial advice. As one person wrote, he somehow thought I'm giving financial advice, and he said, are you, I think, registered or something like that to give financial advice? I was, dude, I don't do that stuff. I don't have the right to give you financial. I'm not a financial advisor, right? If you're watching my webinar and you have the idea that I'm somehow a financial advisor, you should stop trading. Literally, because then your ability to assess things is a little low. And I'm not being, I'm not being abusive. I'm being critical. I mean, on a very nice way. If you look at any of my work and you think that this guy is a financial advisor, then you shouldn't be trading. You can understand that you shouldn't be trading. It's not your thing. Maybe you're very good at something else, not trading. Because what I'm doing is just showing you my views on how charts can go based on a specific method called wave analysis. It's not financial advice. So if you're writing me that, don't trade. My answer to him is don't trade. So please look at this. What I'm showing you is based on specific patterns, using a specific method to analyze the chart. Now, It might or might not work on crypto, but most likely it should work on crypto because it's working very good in Forex, working very good on stocks. And so far, crypto is new in the market. We don't know what specific patterns will form in crypto. We're looking at patterns that exist in Forex and in stocks and all of that. And so far, they're there. You can clearly identify the same patterns. Now, would there be some variation to the pattern? Would there be some different patterns existing? Yes, there likely could be. If we notice that, if we analyze it very more as we do the analysis and we continue to go within a year period, we can tell you that, you know what, more specific patterns for cryptos are these, right? We would probably find new patterns and said, okay, these are the most specific patterns and this is how they behave. If we can do that, then we'll have an edge in the market. That's the whole point. Finding specific patterns that have specific behaviors. And that's your edge in the market. That's all. It's nothing more than that. So if you look and you don't see me doing that, you see anything else but that, rethink whether you want to be a trader. Thank you very much. I'm a very honest and blunt person. I tell you like it is. It might hurt your feelings, but I'm not here to babysit anybody, especially if you're in the trading business. So I don't have to pat you on the back and say, yeah, maybe that's a nice idea. I will see. Maybe I can give you some financial advice. I can't. Or, or maybe you need to go relook and you'll still be a good trader. You wouldn't be a good trader if you think I'm a financial advisor because you have no idea what I'm doing. So please take care, trade with care, have a wonderful day, and you're all nice people. I'm just being honest with you. If you do that, don't trade. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye.